All right, welcome everybody to a product spotlight. I am Dave Cooper live. ModLogic is set to build the largest hospital in North America using offsite modular construction. If you're wondering why steel frame modular construction is the best choice for the healthcare industry and more, look no further than today's conversation with ModLogic President and CEO Jim Gabriel, who also will be sharing some breaking news, and they are also taking this industry to the next level. But before we do that, we got to thank all of our sponsors. So pay attention to who's helping us deliver all of these innovative conversations, because we can't do this without any of our sponsors. Check them out. Forward Solutions Group is successfully driving companies to succeed where others have failed. Are you looking to start a factory, optimize your existing factory, streamline your production, or take your team to the next level? Whatever your needs are, Forward has a solution for you. Reach out to Ben at forwardsolutionsgroup.com. Halleck Ltd. has a long history of innovation in cold form steel manufacturing and producing innovative precision roll forming technology for customers throughout the United States and the world. Check out their machine buyer's guide for offsite modular construction or fast build construction with light steel for framing. Go to their website, halleckltd.com. All right. Again, thanks so much to our sponsors that are out there. A lot of shows coming up. We have World of Modular coming up, and we also have Advancing Prefabrication, and they gave us a promo code, DC Live 10. Save yourself 10%. March 14th through the 17th. And guess what? It's in the warm, sunny weather in Phoenix, Arizona. So again, promo code DC Live 10. Tell them Dave Cooper sent you. We love this industry and everything that we have going on. And our next guest, who I'm going to bring on right now, also loves this industry. He's actually been in it longer than me. Hard to believe, but he has been. He has lost more hair than me, though. But we won't talk about that. Let's bring Jim into the show. What's up, Mr. Gabriel?
Hey, Dave. Listen, voluntarily lost more hair than you.
Yeah, is that what it is? So, voluntarily? I love it.
Well, I'm glad to be part of the club. Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, listen, we are happy to have you on the show. You know, what's so great about having you on the show is we always have exciting things to talk about. And I will say, you know, ModLogic, when we first got started, I think when we really first met is when we did some coverage for you on the West Islip Hospital set. This is an area where ModLogic really excels above and beyond any other modular manufacturer out there, at least in my opinion, from what I have seen. And we're going to showcase some of these things, and we're going to showcase the intricate details that it takes to build a hospital. This isn't a house. This isn't a single family home. This isn't an apartment building. These are hospitals with gas lines, pneumatic rooms, all of those things, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's as complex as it gets in our industry. So we're happy to be helping to lead it. That's for sure.
So here's what we're going to do, Jim. We're going to start off with a video. You actually won Best in Show award with this video. And then I'm going to want to hop into, you know, what is going on with ModLogic. Give us the details. But first, let's just showcase this real quick.
We started, I think we broke ground in around March or February or something. And here it is in June, and the building's up, and we're ready to see patients next week.
This is Dave Cooper, and we are at Good Samaritan Hospital in West Islip, New York. And right now I am standing inside a modular, roughly 7,000 square foot, modular pediatric emergency room addition that we did for the hospital.
As with many other hospitals, particularly in highly populated areas, space and land is always a problem. John Bongiorno introduced me to this notion of a modular construction, whereby we could reduce the laydown area for the project and speed up the construction, thereby reducing the amount of disruption. We were able to construct the foundation and do all of the site work at the same time that you guys were building the building. Even more impressive than how fast we were able to finish the project by doing this kind of simultaneous construction was the fact that we got hit with a pandemic. Through the entire process, we didn't miss a beat.
The COVID pandemic actually sped up this process.
Right.
And really pushed us as we saw a need to have dedicated space, private rooms for our patients.
Right.
And the fact that this was modular construction obviously was great not only for us on campus here, but for the entire community because there was a lot less disruption. You know, if we didn't tell people it was modular, there's no way anybody would be able to tell.
Jim, I don't know about you, but I get so excited every time I see that video. I don't think a lot of people realize the conditions that you guys were building that under. I mean, we weren't even a lot in the hospital, right? Everything was closed off. And it was a very, very interesting way to go about building something. In fact, you just had to build it and everything lined up perfectly going through the walls. But we're not here to talk about this project. That's just an example of how awesome you guys are doing. We're here to talk about a bigger project. But first, tell us a little bit about Jim Gabriel and everything you have going on today.
Well, it's thanks again, Dave. I appreciate it. It's not really about me. It's about, what we've been able to do, from that. I mean, we've been in the healthcare space for a long time. Access construction, that's one of many. We've actually have, two, I think three more of those projects in pre-design right now for various hospitals in the Northeast. We're just, again, just trying to leverage our knowledge and experience to help solve problems. And we find ourselves with complex problems. And that's the kind of thing that we love. I agree with you every time I see that video, but every time I see what we build and how we build it and the people we build it with, I'm in awe. And I've been doing this for a long time, and I don't mean that. That's not a shtick. That's not anything other than really being grounded in the fact that we do something very unique with a very smart group of people from our in-house staff to our subcontractors. But the thing that we're really working on now, Dave, and we're actually launching. I appreciate the opportunity again to have this platform to talk about it. It's design logic, and so one of the things in our vision is to provide to leverage modular construction in every way possible, right? But the construction piece comes after the design piece starts. So we believe. So we've started the Design Logic, which is a completely separate group focused on designing for modular manufacturing, assembly, and construction. So it's our version of DFMA plus C, the construction piece, which is not an insignificant piece of the puzzle. And so we're live. We've got a separate team dedicated to it. It's really based on our collaborative approach. Nothing has changed. We're not building a super group internally of design professionals, design components. We've got a really good supporting cast within our design group. We want to migrate that to Design Logic that allows us to do more. Not just, we believe that DNA, that manufacturing is in our DNA. And so the ability to be able to do more, to fulfill our vision and the vision of people like you and others who see the value in this, we believe it's really grounded in the design. And so we want to leverage our experience in manufacturing to help generate and help facilitate more of the design piece, and not just to be able to fill our plant. There's only so much we could build in New Holland, Pennsylvania. We want to help those everyone actually who have a desire to leverage modular construction for whatever reason.
All right. Record scratch, Jim. All right, you just kind of jumped into it. So
I
you
could
got.
keep going.
I know. This is what's so great. Like I said, the passion's there. So you have ModLogic where you're building projects, right, for customers, and maybe even for some of your own projects if you had them. But now what you're saying is you've created a design logic, a design firm to not only work with your existing team, but to help other teams, whether it's here in the United States or maybe it's even global, to be able to expand their capabilities using a team like yours that has a lot of the knowledge and know-how already in place. So am I hearing you right? So this is a whole
100%.
nother company.
Yep, 100%. I did skip ahead. Did I skip ahead, Dave? Was I?
Yeah, you skipped ahead. No, it's good. It's good. Hey, well, listen, it's exciting stuff because you guys are already doing, this hospital. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. I mean, this is the largest, off-site modular hospital built in America, and construction's begun on that, correct?
It has, yeah. We've been under structural construction since late summer.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll have the structural piece component of that project. It's about 100,000 square foot project on our facility, pretty much within the next several weeks and into the construction piece.
So would you be all right? I have some old footage that I took when we were on location, just showing how complex these builds are. You okay if I put something up here and you can explain to people like how complex this is? It's a video and I'm going to try and stop it, but we may mess it up a little bit here. But I'm going to put it up here right now. But there's no sound with this. Jim, look at that. What are we looking at here?
This is actually the Good Samaritan Hospital project that I believe these are actually photos on site where we are now reassembling the project. Our process is a build together process. So, those of you who understand the assembly line or the static build, we take all those modules and we connect them horizontally, vertically. It becomes a conventional project. Then we disassemble it and ship it to site, which allows us to get as much done in factory as humanly possible. So what you're seeing is the on-site version of that, which solves a multitude of problems, not just in terms of speed, but in terms of the complexity that takes of the reconnection of those particularly mechanical, electrical, and plumbing lines on site.
And I'm actually going to go back to that here, people, so they can see that. I think it was right in here. I mean, the connections that, this is all day one. What you're seeing there in the ceiling is already installed, and the pieces to connect the units are actually pre-cut and hung, waiting for the installer or the assembler to put it together and connect both sides of the unit. But this is the complexity that we're talking about when we look at this build. And I was so impressed when I did this because I myself have never seen, that level of complexity as well done in a modular format. And I think, and I want to get back to where we were showing the outside there. Like when we look at that, like that's a lot.
It is. And the reality of it is that the magic, there's no magic to it, but it's already been together once. It's already been connected. We're reconnecting that on site, which is a key piece of it. With regard to the complexity of it, you can't do that in a manufacturing facility, an assembly line, a static build. You can get it to a high level of completion,
right?
But that connection point and as perfect as we think the technology is, there are still challenges on site, and so we solve that problem.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and I think this is what I wanted to put out. When I heard about Design Logic and what you were doing, and the level that you bring to the table from doing so many of these projects. That's just one that I was on. I haven't been on. Well, I was on an elementary school that you guys did as well in record time. But This 7,000 square foot hospital facility, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it was open in 12 weeks or less from the time you put it on the foundation.
Yeah, it was a quick turnaround, and particularly as you mentioned earlier, and during some very very uncharted at times or
Yeah,
relative to the pandemic. Wasn't the script for that, so it just speaks to the value of modular and offsite construction. I can't emphasize that more. It's not just us. It's not just what we do. It's what the industry has to offer.
right.
And what we do is we try to push the envelope on what it is that we can do and the complexity of the kinds of projects that we believe modular construction can absolutely provide value for.
For sure. Let's talk about mod logic in general, right? You're doing the hospital. That's different than the design logic side of this. This is mod logic. This is your team that's manufacturing and building the modules for this hospital. Walk us through what makes this project so special other than it's the largest? I mean, why start small?
Well, I know. So you take what you saw, what the audience saw on the Good Samaritan project. I mean, the level of complexity is significant for a 7,000 square foot. Multiply that by 10 or more, right? This is a project that's just shy of 100,000 square foot of functional hospital space. It's not a MOB, a medical office building. It includes all kinds of things, including operatories. Everything that you would see in a hospital, you'll see in this building. And this project didn't come to us randomly. We've been working with a group, abstract architecture, Mark Mullen and his group. Bob Gessing and his group on the equipment and planning side, but they developed a group called Mind Develop, and their complete focus is particularly in underserved in underserved areas is to leverage modular construction to solve really important problems in underserved communities. So this is a template. I mean, the thing that we sometimes don't talk a lot about is the idea that this is a project. This is a significant project. It's the largest permanent modular hospital project underway in North America. There've been others certainly that have been temporary versions. This is a permanent hospital project, and so it's a template. It's a template for the ability to be able to leverage modular construction, offsite construction in a more significant way, candidly, around, across the country.
Sure. How many modules is this project?
I think in the end, it's going to be 213 or so modules. So we took our team together with Mark Mullen and Bob Gessing and their group. We took the hospital program and reduced it down to, I could be wrong about this number, but somewhere in the neighborhood of 12 module sizes, right? So we took their programming. So we started with the programming. That's important. We don't just say, here's what you have to build around. We say, tell us what you want to build and how you want to build it and how it needs to function. And we'll create a modular version of that hopefully, solves, doesn't answer all the questions, but answers most of the questions. Right. So it's about 213 or 14 modules that are absolutely synergistic with what the programming requires for this type of an application.
So when you say their program, basically what their wants and needs and desires are for how they do their hospital setups. So you didn't design from scratch. You took something that was kind of existing based on their needs and then designed it within your system.
Well, yes, but we did design from scratch, right? Okay. We took their programming elements. What does this facility, how does this facility need to function? And then we worked through, and it was not easy. It wasn't something that we in essence said, we understand your needs. Here's the best we can do. our team internally, together with Abstract uh, and others within our group, really spent a lot of time in figuring out how to make this work, knowing that this was not just a project, but a game changer for the client and for the industry. And so we took that very seriously.
Yeah, I would imagine. You have to take it serious. These are not little projects, and I think how you're going about doing this is incredible. So, all right, so we're doing a hospital. I covered a hospital project. I covered an elementary school project. Now, hopefully I'll have the invitation to cover this big hospital project as well.
Open invite.
I love it. But tell me a little bit more about like just ModLogic's capabilities in general, Jim. For those of the people out there, we've grown so much since our first show together years ago that I think there's a lot of people would be interested to hear a little bit deeper story on what you guys are capable of.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate it, Dave. I really do. The thing, I'll tell it in this way. The story behind this project is they started, this project will be set in Athens, Ohio, which is southeast Ohio, about 3.5 hours from Pittsburgh, which is not where we generally work. Our work is generally in the Northeast because of relative cost of labor. The footnote to that is that we are solving more significant problems than just cost. We, as in ModLogic, as in the modular industry. And so this project came to us. It originated with a group I mentioned to you, Mind Development, Mark Mullen and Bob Guessing, great partners on this project, who started to explore the option of building this in China. The client said, "Listen, I understand that somehow, some way, there's a hospital built in 24 hours. That's not going to happen in Athens, Ohio." And so they began a quest to find the right partner. And so we had initial conversations. We started talking about what we could do, and based on our experience. But this was a very large project.
Yeah,
certainly our capabilities were good relative to the application, but the size was significant. In the end, they looked at us as candidly the only ones who could really be able to provide their a level of expertise appropriate for this project.
Yeah, I mean, definitely so. I mean, it's got to be a huge undertaking. I want to get to a couple comments people have here and just some hellos, just so everybody knows. For whatever reason, the comments are not being pulled into the program today. I have a note here saying that they're having difficulties, but I can still see it on the other social media channels. So big shout out to our good friends, Carson Holmquist. He said, excited to hear Jim's breaking news. Good. Carson had breaking news. I mean, come on, the guy's putting in, committed $50 million over the next several years to advancing the logistics of offsite modular construction. How awesome is that? So Stream Modular is their new division. You got your new division. We got Stream's new division. This is good stuff. We also got Dr. Brett Musson out in the audience. Good to see you, Dr. Brett Musson. Good morning from Long Beach, California. We have Tom Reed out there from Howick. Love Howick, best cold form steel rolling machines in the industry, my humble opinion. And they're definitely great supporters of Dave Cooper Live. He says, good afternoon, guys. Russ Wills, I know that name from Tovey Manufacturing out in Ohio. Hey, I don't know. Let us know if you're enjoying the new video series that we just recently have been launching with Tovey. Russ is a key player in that conversation, so let him know if he's made for the big time. He's gonna be up there. I'm gonna be his manager one of these days, maybe. He's got the sideburns. He's got it all. Brett Musson, show is 10 a.m. in my world, so not so easy, but I try to catch as often as I can. Great to see you. He says he has a major update as well, so we'll have to get with Brett. What's going on, man? The water must be good in our industry right now. And Michael Bruce also says, I do like using structural steel framing. Much easier to maintain module integrity during transit and installation. So if anybody has any other comments you want to put out there, maybe hop over to YouTube and see if they'll come in from there. But I do have a note here, unfortunately, saying that it's not able to pull comments today. Who knows? Jim, What am I missing here? What is it that we need to talk about? Maybe maybe your website. Let me pull that up here. This is
I'll
the
tell
new
you, Dave.
Design Logic website, right?
Yeah. So DMAC, a play on our on DMFA and DMFA, Design for Manufacturing and
Yep.
Assembly. It's really hard to say, to be honest with you, Dave. And it's hard to create a way to articulate that. But it's nuanced, because the key piece of it, the C is construction. What we
Yep.
do is still connected to construction. It's all of the things that DMFA provides. The construction piece is not significant, so we believe that is important, an important distinction, to be able to follow these projects and design them all the way through to construction, which includes the on-site piece. What we believe and what we've seen, and what everyone, I think, would agree, that these projects have become more hybrid, of modular manufacturing, assembly, and construction on site. That piece is really the critical piece to be able to kind of wrap it all up in a nice bow for clients. So it's, again, it's no different than the work that we're doing now on a collaborative basis. We expect to continue to leverage the knowledge and experience of our team. Candidly, we want to expand that team. So anyone out there who wants to, who is interested in being able to join, the Design Logic team, it is what we believe. It's really not just a design team; it's a design collaborative. It's a connection of or collection of people who candidly know how to design for manufacturing, modular manufacturing, and assembly. So. We're excited about it. Again, we're not just trying to fill our plant. There's only so much we can do there. We want to influence in a much greater way offsite construction, and we want to help solve problems for more owners and anyone who wants to be able to leverage offsite construction based on our manufacturing experience.
Well, DMAC, and we have new terminology there. You're right. Design, say it again. Design for modular manufacturing,
assembly, and construction.
Yeah,
yeah, that's the key to it. We worked on this a lot, because we started with DMFA, DMFA, right? And I said, and I'm simple. I'm a marketing guy. I think in terms and taglines. And I said, you know what? The issue is, it's hard it's hard to say. It's hard to articulate it. But it's also not 100% accurate. So we created DMAC short, that we think is the philosophy behind being able to do more. Everything starts with the design. So we can't build, and every modular manufacturer out there will answer the question. Their answer to the question is, can you build this? From any owner, operator, developer, the answer to their question, the answer they'll provide is, it depends on the design. So that's really what we want to do. We want to influence the design in significant ways, for the benefit of all. Again, we can only build so much. We want to do more.
So what do you have in the pipeline? So you're working on this hospital. I'm sure that's keeping you pretty darn busy. Yeah. But there's no shortage of work for you, from what you were saying prior to the show.
Yeah, and I think this is across the board. I mean, I think the problems we solve as an industry have become even more magnified. Yeah. Not just cost; it's time sensitivity. It's cost certainty. It's all the things that we provide, that the public, that the market is beginning to understand exactly what we mean. It's not just a marketing ploy. Yeah. So we've got a couple of with you mentioned John Bongiorno and Access Construction. We've got I know at least 2 more hospital additions that we're working on. In addition to a fairly large project with his group. That's it's not healthcare, but it's a significant government project for the state of New York. We've developed some great relationships with our accounts in terms of being able to be more valuable to them, their clients, and being able to solve problems. We really have a lot of work, and now it's starting to really dovetail into multifamily housing, and hopefully soon we'll have some other news to talk about relative to that and our ability to be able to do more in that space, not just with structural steel, with light gauge metal. I want to mention one other thing, Dave, that we're working on. You come to our plant, and I welcome anyone. We love to host people to understand what we do and how we do it. It's decidedly unautomated. Working with a group called Quant. Quant is AI driven a software company that helps us understand, really helps us understand the analytics, the data behind what we do in terms of being able to improve our process. So we've got everyone in our facility on the construction side will be armed with a wearable that will help track their movements. When we talk about, Dave, everyone's dealing with this issue relative to labor. We're not immune to that, but we're really looking at how do we improve the ability to utilize our labor in more significant ways. First of all, understanding what are the analytics telling us with regard to movements and tasks and completion. How does that impact schedule? How does our subcontractors fit into that? And so Quant, they're actually in our plant today, setting up to be able to monitor, the analytics on this Athens, the hospital project, and every other project that we have. We want to be able to know. It's not just about. I think our friend Helena says it best. You can't improve until you can't automate until you perfect the process. Perfecting the process is about understanding the analytics and data behind that. And so we're really working hard to integrate technology at the analytic level, not just at the automated level.
Yeah, I love it. Helena Lidlow is who I'm assuming you're speaking about. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Super,
absolutely.
super bright when it comes to manufacturing and modular construction for sure. European background, and now here helping us build it better here in the United States, which is super, super cool. You talk about AI, and I'll hold this up. I actually have this guest coming on. His name is Mehdi Nurbagash. I got to say Nurbakash, I believe is how it's. He's going to murder me when he hears how I said his name. But he is one of the leading experts in the world, and he has a PhD on, it's called Augment It. We're going to be giving away a free signed copy on our show, but it's all about how architecture, engineering, and construction leaders leverage data and artificial intelligence to build a sustainable future. So that's going to be on March 13th. So put it on your calendar if you're not ready for it yet. But Jim, that does not surprise me that you beat me to the punch on this. I mean, come on. You're using AI in your factory, and you're right. It's not a highly automated factory, but that's the value of what AI is going to give you. It's gonna help you figure out your efficiencies in a big way.
Absolutely, we're laser focused on it, Dave. We believe that the ability to be able to do more is understanding exactly how to extract the efficiencies we need to be able to improve it. For
sure. So Jim, tell me, I just before we wrap up here, what is the key to ModLogic's success? If you were to leave everybody out there with all the new factories starting up, and I'm going to hint to something too, because you always talk about the people behind you. You never put yourself in front of anybody else. And I'm just curious. I mean, you're super successful. Everybody loves you. I think everybody, anyhow. I haven't met anybody that doesn't yet, but I also know your team does as well. If you don't like Jim, let me know in the comments. No, I'm just kidding. All right, tell us if you were to give any advice, what would it be?
Dave, I couldn't have said it better. I mean, our team, I've been at this for 30 years. I've worked with some incredible people, no disrespect to the people I've worked with before. And some of them it's sort of a remix. Everything is a remix. Look that up as a TED Talk on everything is a remix. We brought in the best of the best, the smartest people who know how to do things. You can't get to the point of acceleration with just automation, with just technology. You have to have people who know how to do things and then migrate it to a platform that allows us to be able to do more. I can't talk enough about the people on my team: Casey Cavada, Magdalena Murphy, Scott Heckel, who's been in our organization for a long time, Stacey Tanner, who's helped lead our business development and our business development team, Brian Lundquist, who you've worked with, is on the marketing side to help tell our story. It's not, we're trying to be a marketing organization. We just want to be able to tell our story. I mean, Joe Datoli, who's managing our plant in New Holland. I'm going to leave some people out, but we brought on somebody who's in this market, helped us hire in the last 3 months 18 people, 18 to 20 people, superstars. We're really attracting the best of the best, and so you're absolutely right. ModLogic, fueled by the smartest, most dedicated people, bar none in the industry. We brought on Nick Johnahakis, who's a great friend of mine, who's an architect, he's got jurisdiction in almost all 50 states. Is going to help us. He's helping us lead Athens together with Scott Heckel and others, but help us kind of launch Design Logic. So
awesome. Did I miss anything, Jim? Is there anything you want to make sure everybody knows about you? I know you'll be at World of Modular, so I know you're heading out there if they want to connect to you. But is there anything that we should know?
Last thing, I love this stuff. I love working with people. I agree, with those and Von Buckley, who you and I both know, have talked about this open source. We don't want to really create this in a vacuum. We want to create this in a way that helps others be able to leverage modular construction, to be able to help their companies within this space be more successful. You mentioned, Carson. I can't be happier for him, but he understands, everything starts with design, but you cannot neglect the logistics that help us make certain that we can get these projects to site and up and limit the challenges related to that. So I can't thank him and his team enough for making the investment that those guys have made in this industry. And it's there's a lot of it to go around. A lot of people who put a lot of faith, their careers, their company's future in offsite. I think it's well placed, and we just want to be a part of it.
Love it. Couldn't have said it better. And again, big shout out to Carson and his team at Stream Logistics. They are a sponsor of ours as well, but just like you, man, people just love working with them. They're taking it to a whole new level, and it takes a different level of thinking to really make this industry get somewhere. So, all right. So our breaking news today was Design Logic, not ModLogic, but Design Logic. You guys just launched a new design and engineering company that's going to not only help your own team, but help everybody else's teams should they decide to work with you. And you do have a website out there, Design Logic, that everybody can go to, right? DesignLogic.com. Yep. Let me just I'll just show that one last time so everybody can see it. DesignLogic.com. Go there, check it out. You want to work with the best, you got to work with the best. That's as simple as it gets, right, Jim? All right.
Yes, our team is the best, and I appreciate you, Dave, and Jen and the Billy Bell help tell our story. If without people like you, I'm not so sure we're advancing this industry as rapidly as we need to. Thanks.
Well, you're welcome. And like you, I love what I do. So hopefully the energy comes through and everybody else loves it. We are a super connector. We love putting everybody together and seeing great things happening. Jim, don't go anywhere. We'll come back to you after the show. Thank you for joining us today. And the rest of you out there, guess what? It's Wednesday. That means you still got 2.5 days to build it better. It's not hump day. It means you got 2 more days to keep going at it, because we're going to change how we build each and every day. And we'll see you again Friday, 1 p.m. BS Friday with my good buddy, Mark Bare Naked Willie. I'm Dave Cooper. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Go to that YouTube channel. Don't want to miss any of these shows. Jim, hang tight. Bye, everybody.